Hi guys, Jay here, Full-Time Devils. Thanks for tuning in to the daily transfer update. There's not a lot going on today in terms of Manchester United transfers, but there's a little bit, and it's more of an update really in terms of deals that we already knew were in place or that we were expecting. Now, the big story yesterday was news that Harry Maguire was a done deal, that United and Leicester City had agreed a fee and that a medical was already booked in for the England centre-back. Now, no medical has taken place today. The rumours were, or the stories were, I think it came from The Sun, that there was going to be a medical today. That hasn't happened. And the latest stories, reports are that a deal hasn't been agreed between Manchester United and Leicester City, that Leicester City are still holding out for £90 million, and that United actually, looking at the valuation of Matthijs de Ligt for what is rumoured to be around 71 million, are reluctant to go higher than that fee, because they feel that if de Ligt is worth 71 million, then Harry Maguire, who's 7 years older, is he? Arguably not quite as good, you may argue. Is he really worth £20 million more, or almost £20 million more? So those are the latest rumours coming out. Now, what you might ask yourself is, should United just pay the 90 million? We need a centre-back, everyone knows that. We're crying out for a leader, he's that sort of player. The longer it goes on, you think the more desperate United would become. Because one of the issues with Leicester is that despite the fact that, yes, they are a smaller club than Manchester United, and in the past they have sold players. When they won the title, they sold, not long after that, they sold Danny Drinkwater, N'Golo Kante, Riyad Mahrez obviously went to City, was it last summer? So they do sell players, but they're not what you'd class as skin. They're not a type of club where, they're not like, no disrespect to them, they're not like Southampton, who have to keep selling players almost every summer to survive. Leicester have fairly rich owners, and Leicester have a sort of a fairly recent tradition, but a proud tradition of having a good team, having a strong club, having a bit of unity, and they can dig their heels in here a little bit. They could say, well, do you know what? We want 90 million quid, and there's no guarantee that they'd have to come down, because, as I've mentioned earlier, they're not necessarily the type of club that would think we must take 70 million for him because we can't afford to miss out on this deal. So it remains to be seen, but at the moment, it looks as though there's a bit of a stalemate going on. In terms of de Ligt, while we're on that subject, latest rumours were that Barcelona are trying to get in there, that everyone thought he was going to go to Juventus, and then Real Madrid were linked with him. But almost everyone's been linked with him, including Manchester United. But the value for him is being touted at around 71 million quid. And that's why the latest stories are that Manchester United aren't willing to pay that much more than 71 million for Harry Maguire. We'll have to wait and see on that one. It's one of those where you think there may be a little bit of to-ing and fro-in before a deal can be done. It may be a deal where somebody's paid up front and you know, further down the line something is paid. Let's just hope we don't offer what we offered Crystal Palace, which at one point was, we'll give you some money, and if he wins the Champions League, we'll give you some more. And they absolutely laughed at that and then leaked it to the press. The other big story, of course, as usual, with Manchester United is Paul Pogba. Now, this has been going on all summer. I think the last time I was on here, there were stories that Real Madrid were about to go on a sort of fire sale, sell everyone to get the money in for Paul Pogba, because United were asking for around 180 million. Real Madrid were roughly considering around the £100 million mark, so they were going to sell a load of players to bring in the extra money. Now it looks as though Paul Pogba might not be going anywhere. Jamie Jackson from The Guardian, who's been on this channel, he was on this channel a few weeks ago talking about Paul Pogba, amongst other things, he's reporting that it doesn't look like United and Real Madrid are going to get anywhere close to where they need to get to make this transfer happen. And it looks like Real Madrid, for the time being, may well leave it. They may walk away, possibly pursue Pogba in January or next summer. But at the moment, it looks as though Paul Pogba isn't going anywhere. Now, that makes a lot of sense to me, because he's United's biggest star, whether you like Paul Pogba or not. He's the one that most fans recognise. He's the one that sells all the shirts. He's the best player, and he's the most, you know, sort of, as I said earlier, he is the sort of the big star of the club at the moment. Whether you're a Paul Pogba fan or not, there's no denying that. So for United to sell him for 100 million or whatever, even though that's big money, it doesn't make a lot of sense, especially when you see players like Harry Maguire being talked about in the £90 million mark. So Paul Pogba looks like he's staying. Now, one of the players that was rumoured to be coming in, either to play alongside Paul Pogba or to replace him, was Bruno Fernandes. Now, this is another one that has been dragging on for weeks now. Earlier reports were that United were in for him, that they didn't want to get involved in a deal or negotiations with him while they were sorting out the Aaron Wan-Bissaka deal. That deal's obviously been done. Now the latest reports are that United are reluctant to pay the £70 million that Sporting Lisbon want for Bruno Fernandes. That's how much they value the 24-year-old. Listen, Fernandes is an immense talent. I think he's got 31 goals in 50 games last season, 20 goals, I think it is. Is it 20 goals, 20 league goals from midfield in the Portuguese top flight? So he's obviously a very talented player. He's 24 years old, so he's still got quite a few years left in the tank. Now, according to a report in the Mirror, Ed Woodward isn't happy about paying £70 million for Bruno Fernandes, and as soon as I hear that, my heart sinks. Not because I necessarily think that 70 million is fair, even though I think that's not far off what you should be paying for a player of that quality. It's the fact that we're sat here again with an investment banker making the decisions. We still haven't got a director of football. Now, I'm not saying if we had a director of football, we'd get Bruno Fernandes over the line, but it makes more sense to have someone negotiating these deals, looking at them properly, and not have someone who's saying, we can only do one deal at a time, and I'm the man that's going to make those deals, even though I've got almost zero football experience when it comes to the playing side of things and the management side of things. So it's just, if it's true, it just seems farcical. It really does, because these are the sorts of deals we should be looking at, and we should be getting them over the line, really. Bruno Fernandes, no disrespect to him, he's a very good player, but Sporting Lisbon and Bruno Fernandes, those are the types of deals you should be able to get done. You should, because he's not a Juventus or even an Ajax for that matter, or a Real Madrid or a Barcelona, or he's not at one of our domestic rivals. He's at a club that pretty much seem accepting of the fact that they're going to have to sell him. He's the right age. He's someone that, even if we keep Paul Pogba, can come in and do a job. And let's not forget, we've let Ander Herrera go. People won't like me saying this, but since Oli came in, we've also let Marouane Fellaini go. I know people go, well, Fellaini's rubbish, whatever. But we've got two less midfielders since Oli came in than we had when he arrived. How can that be possible? How is that even allowed? We need strengthening that area. And yes, I'm a big fan of Scott McTominay. I think he can do a job. Nemanja Matic is coming towards the end of career. Scott McTominay, I think, is probably a season or two away from where he needs to be. James Garner, we've seen him on the tour, scored a great goal. He's not ready to play 30 or 40 first-team games just yet. So it just seems to me absolutely ludicrous that we're sat here again, dilly-dallying over transfers and doing one transfer at a time, and according to reports, we're letting Ed Woodward again make these deals. Do you remember a few years ago when Ed Woodward was leaving Australia to go and sort out urgent transfer business? I wonder whatever happened there. I'm just going to jump into the comments here, because I don't want to just keep regurgitating the same stories. You've all been following Full-Time Devils on social media. You know that Adam McCullough is over there, Stephen Howson is over there. We'll be giving you updates, we'll be giving you previews, we'll be giving you reactions from the games as well, and any sort of news that comes through there, any news that we get from the camp, we'll be updating you with you on social media, so make sure you check us out on Instagram, on the Twitter and on the Facebook of course. I'm just going to have a look at some of the comments here. Fellaini was insane. Maguire, Fernandes and Pepe. I would have Koulibaly if we're going to pay 90 million for Harry. A lot of people have said this on social media. Koulibaly, apparently he was touted in the £100 million mark. If you're going to pay £90 million for Harry Maguire, there's an argument that why not go that extra 10 million and get someone like Koulibaly, who's an immense talent, one of the best centre-backs on the planet. Again, there's question marks. Does he want to come? There's also question marks about his age. I think he's a couple of years older than Harry Maguire, which means you're probably going to get less out of him. You're probably going to get, 2 or 3 top years, maybe one more, maybe 4 years. Harry Maguire, you should be able to get 5 years out of him. So we'll have to wait and see. At the moment, it's just sort of everything seems to sort of stagnated a little bit. After all the hype and the excitement over the story breaking yesterday that Harry Maguire was a done deal and the medical was all booked in, it's all gone a bit quiet on that front. So as I said earlier, keep checking out Full-Time Devils. We'll give you any updates you want. If you guys hear anything, don't be afraid to get in touch, tweet us, get in touch on Instagram. Let us know your thoughts as well in the comments, and let us know who you think we should be buying, and if you've heard anything, if you've heard any rumours or any stories, if you've got a mate who knows a mate who works at the place where the medicals take place, then give us a shout. I've been Jay. As I've said earlier, Adam McCullough is over there. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.